sure it's working.
And Coach Barr was like, "Yeah, we can just go longer, but with him, rather than 15 minutes, we can go longer with him. So we'll let him exhaust whatever he wants to say."
Okay.
And then it's just Severe and Cantrell. Hey, for Cantrell, give him a chance to respond to the allegations levied against him last week.
What'd they say against him?
All the food, like the stinky food, the dirty locker. That can be a fun Cantrell question.
YouTube. Den Coaches Show Week 1 shows it as live. All right, guys, we are live. Joined here in Ondas by Coach Seth Parr. This is the Den Coaches Show for and from the Kyle Football Network, which is sponsored by City Park Group. We're excited you've joined us. We have a ragtag group on this holiday special. Let's give yourselves a round of applause as we get started.
The loyalists in the house.
Right? These are hardcore folks, hardcore fans, Coach.
Right. Most everybody's working, so they I guess they're just enjoying good food and they don't have to worry about work.
Well, it's a great day, a great weekend. It's an even better week to be playing football.
Yes, sir. Always great to play during Thanksgiving. Thought I was going to have to go to you this year. Maybe broke out of that.
Did you see our tweet that we sent out from the Kyle Football Network Twitter account?
I have not looked much at Twitter, but
okay,
what'd
fair
you put?
enough. It was the one of you dancing on the stage, the AI generated one.
Oh,
and I said
yeah,
Coach
I
Parr
did see
walking
that.
into Black Friday
Yeah, that's
football
right.
for the third season in a row.
That's
Anna.
right. One of my former coaches made that,
Yep.
Coach Sexton. So
I grabbed
he's
that before the season. I was like, I think this is the right time to throw that back out into the
I
into
didn't
the
realize.
world.
I knew he was talented. We used to have him do all our videos, and he would do like a lot of cut-ups. Like we would cut up other coaches talking, and then he would put the head of maybe a Salina Bobcat or somebody on, and they would talk, and it was always pretty good. So he's very talented in his work on AI and a lot of images.
So who's the go-to image video creator for your staff now?
You know, we got a couple. A lot of our stuff is populated through a thing called Box Out Sports. And Coach Stevens went to a sports information director meeting, and that's kind of how you get a lot of information out there already made. You kind of build them and plug them in because you don't have time to really get cool edits that are personalized. Because you're either teaching or it's hard, you know, a lot of that's hard, and it's going to last for probably 30 seconds, maybe a day. You know, I don't know if that's worth the squeeze of the juice sometimes, but you know, if we do a thing like for post or do a thing for the schedule or something that's going to remain there and keep, I will probably go to a guy. We got Coach Townsend who can do it. He loves editing things and creating things. But the best editor I know is a guy named Breezy Dubar. So
All right.
if I ask Breezy can do anything on his phone and edit anything, and he always came up with it when he was in high school. And Breezy's really talented on that.
Well, I imagine Breezy's not doing much edits right now. He's just scoring touchdowns behind Genty, right?
Yeah, I hope he's scoring touchdowns. I'm glad he's working again and getting playing again.
Getting on that field.
I told him I wanted less pictures and more playing. Last time he was on Facebook, he gives me all his pictures, and I said, I want you playing, not taking a photo. So,
It's fun to watch him go ahead game winner this last weekend.
Very proud of him. Made sure he called me to make sure I knew that he was in the game, and I knew that. I watched you.
Well, I mean, you had him. Sawyer's obviously doing his thing.
Evan threw a touchdown pass and I think he went like 12 for 15 in the fourth quarter for 190 yards against Arkansas. So scored a touchdown there. Got hit pretty good a couple of times, and it was Anna tough and got up and threw some more touchdowns.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, did really good behind that offensive line.
CJ's getting some more playing time.
Yeah, CJ's done a really good job. Going in and playing as a defense as a freshman in the FCS level is really hard. So, that just tells you how good he is and how much they value him to get him on the field and all the special teams that he's played. He's done a really good job, and I believe that more is to come for him. He's going to do really, really well.
Yeah, I had a chance to talk to him a little bit over the course of the season last weekend. A little bit we touched base, and it was a lot of fun to hear kind of where his head is, and just he understands. He's one of those guys that comes from the program that understands that it's a grind. Yeah. You got to be committed. It's a long term. It's a process, and you can't get lost in what's right in front of you, or else you can get in trouble, right? Yeah. And so he does a really good job of looking at the longer term, and how fun is it, by the way, to just be able to go to your television on a Saturday, flip through ESPN, ESPN Plus, and see a lot of Coyotes.
It's been a blast because everybody will ask me, who's your favorite team? And really, I don't have a favorite team. I have players that I like to watch. I got a receiver at North Texas, got Defensive Player of the Week from ACU that's playing, and all those guys, they're fun to watch and get to watch them. It makes you proud that they were able to stick it out, go through a process like you said, and finish and have good careers.
Well, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's always good to see that you see your kids, your players going on to the next level, and being successful. But let's talk about this Friday a little bit, huh? I think that's the matchup everybody wants to see. And as we predicted, there's plenty of people joining us live, watching on YouTube right now. So people can't be here in person; they're online. But we've got the third round of the playoffs, the regional semifinals, 2 p.m. kickoff. So in your 3 years here, this will be our second time kicking off at 2 p.m. in the third round. And then last year we had Panther Creek at 7:30. Is there something about a 2 p.m. kickoff on Black Friday that's appealing to you, that you kind of like?
Yes, one, it's warmer.
Yeah, there you go.
2 p.m. Sun's going to be out. And
Right.
If we played, I believe, at 7:30, it's going to be like
Mid-40s.
30s. Yeah, mid-40s. So being around 53 degrees is pretty good weather. Not too cold, not too hot. And
Which for all the weather people, that's the exact same temperature it was last Friday night. So however you dressed, no excuses. Come on out. Come hang with us. Spend some time cheering on the Coyotes.
Well, we always tell our guys 68 is the perfect temperature when you're going like for the house or something like that before you go to bed. 68 and breezy is what we call it. And when it's around 54 and then your body temperature is up around 100, it makes it around 68 and breezy. So never get too high, never get too low, just perfect. Stay calm. It'll be a perfect game, perfect kickoff weather, and should have a lot of people here at this game, from Anna to Lovejoy, and we'll probably sprinkle around some fans around the Metroplex area that will come to this one.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk online. A lot of people coming to this game. Media. There's going to be a lot of people that have highlighted and circled this one as a premier matchup, which is great. I mean, it's fun,
including someone that memed us or memed me.
Yeah, we've stepped in it with some of our friends out there.
He's been a long time follower, and Professor Diggs has been somebody that's he's a really big football supporter, so I respect that.
Yeah.
He just he's been on the wrong side of our picks for a while, but every once in a while he'll get one correct.
He got us right last week.
There you go.
21-point favorite.
Yeah, maybe he's starting to see the light a little bit. We'll see when his picks come out for this week.
Yeah,
where he stands.
I hope he doesn't pick us.
There you go. There you go.
That's a big deal. So I do have a lot of respect for Professor Diggs. Somebody that promotes high school football,
Sure.
just like us.
Yep.
It's okay to have a differing opinion. It's okay to be wrong, which he is a lot on us. But it is fun to have that, because without that means people care. So that's a good thing to have.
I know we're looking forward to shaking his hand, trying to get to know him just a little bit, right?
Alonzo's yelling at us on YouTube right now. He's saying, no, we can't say his name.
Don't say his name. Don't give him any credit. Don't. No, look, we're looking forward to seeing him. I know he'll be there. He's one of the many. And, look, we're facing the same opponent for a second time in the same season. We've done it before with Salina. Kind of tell me about your mentality when you're going against the same opponent for a second time.
Well, it's just familiarity. You've seen them. You know what they're like. They don't change too much. Athletic ability is going to stay the same. It's just getting to know their habits and their routines. So seeing them around week 2, week 3, we didn't have very much film on them, and we never played Lovejoy. So just see what they did and how they responded, and watching every game since then, see if the trends or see what they do stays the same. And so you kind of know what to expect more. And now it just becomes like a game of mistakes. You can't got to be really good in your special teams, your situations, can't turn it over, and make sure when you get inside the 40-yard line you score touchdowns.
So with Thanksgiving, this is we're doing this show a day early, but we're gonna get it in because this is what we do every week.
Yeah.
And I know kind of your mentality. You've said this before. It's like this is business as usual. Like we've got a game to play, we've got stuff to do. But with that being said, do you include anything like Noah Nylander from online sent in a question like, do you allow fans to come into that Thanksgiving Day practice? Do you allow family to be a part of that, or is that just something you're like, no, we're gonna just hit it like we normally do?
We usually do. We usually let the parents come to any practice, so it doesn't matter if it's a Thanksgiving one or not. Yeah, everybody's welcome. If you wanna watch kickoff and special teams, come on ahead. There's a lot of transitions going on.
There you go.
All right, bring your earplugs if you don't want to hear things you shouldn't hear sometimes. But you're always available, and then. Everybody's always welcome.
My ears are so sensitive, Coach.
That's right. That's right. Well, usually Thursday, they're usually pretty good. They haven't gone through school all day, so Thursdays are pretty good on Thanksgiving. I've kind of gotten lazy here. I got to figure out. Usually we try to feed them. I gotta call my boy Scott Roop and We'll try to get them Rudy's or something like that for.
There you go.
For Thursday, but for breakfast afterwards or something like that before they go to eat Thanksgiving dinner, but because those Thanksgiving dinners never really start at 12.
No,
right. Mine is arrival at 4 and eating probably at 5 o'clock. So
yeah, ours is usually when Ann does it's right on time, but when she doesn't, it's usually off a little bit. So I think we're going to eat around 4. So they don't understand that men get hungry, like. You're not supposed to touch any of the deviled eggs. You're not supposed to touch any of the stuff because you're eating. You're about to eat. And I'm like, we're going to eat. Like, we don't eat breakfast because you're supposed to eat lunch. And then you're like, you don't eat lunch because it's never there. So around 4 o'clock, you're hungry and you start eating. But then you're not allowed. That's the only time we really watch what we eat is on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
So. Y'all don't want to agree with that?
No, look,
I'm gonna stay off that. Here's
Coach, I have to text Ann for information on the regular, so I don't want her mad at me because I need to keep getting a good flow of information. So.
Well, I think they're going to do a coach's Thanksgiving. Shonda's doing that, and it's been she's been really good, and I think a lot of our coaches don't get to go home or have family that are around. And so they're going to be able to come up there, and we're going to all eat together. So extended family.
There you go. I mean, my addition to that conversation was going to be in maybe a little bit too late this year, but in future years, if you need it, I'll smoke up some turkeys for the team for after practice. I mean, I did 6 or 7 turkeys a couple years ago for the school.
We like smoked turkey.
So I think I smoked turkey for 70 people that's awesome. that one day.
That's
so
fun.
If that's something you ever need,
my wife's trying to get me. She threw out that we were supposed to say maybe we need to go to the Cracker Barrel to meet your parents, and I know she noticed I didn't give a response to that, so there will be no traveling.
I guess while we're on this subject, let me ask.
They can come up here if they want.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish outside of like the turkey? You got all your sides. What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Well. Depending on who's doing it, I like deviled eggs. That's my favorite, but my wife don't like me eating that for some other reasons. But that's my favorite. And then I do like sweet potatoes, but they have to have the marshmallows on top with it being burned a little bit. And I really enjoy that. That's my favorite.
Pumpkin pie.
I do like pumpkin pie. I was told
that's your dessert of choice.
Yeah, I was told for 20 years I didn't like pumpkin pie. I would sit there and somebody would say, "You want a piece of pumpkin pie?" I said, "Yes, I do." And they're like, "He doesn't like pumpkin pie." I mean, everywhere I went, I was like, "Yes, I do." And then somebody would convince everybody I didn't like pumpkin pie, and I was like, "I don't know where this is coming from. I'm telling you, I do like it." And then
got to put an end to this misinformation campaign.
That's right. Then Ann said, "Well, you really don't like pumpkin pie." I said, "Yes, I do. I like pumpkin pie."
Is that what you were explaining to the officials on Friday night? You were talking about your love for pumpkin pie. That's what it was?
That's exactly what I was talking about right there. So we got a lot of Thanksgiving talk on Friday.
It was good. It's good. I'm sure we'll see him in church this weekend.
That's right.
If,
I told him.
if you
I
know,
told
you
him.
know, right?
That's right.
Well, kind of last question, and really it's up to you on how much you want to go on this one, but in terms of assessment, you know, we saw these guys back in week 5, and there's been a lot of football since week 5. I know we're a different team, but just kind of sum up for us a little bit how you think these teams have changed.
Oh, man. One, you know, you think they have gotten better because when they first played us, they had Coach Dodge's first. You know, they kind of started out with a brand-new coach, so I'm sure what they have done and getting to his routine, you know, has helped him. Now, the difference is between, I mean, their routine was they had won like 40-something games before that. The last 3 years in a row, I think they were like in the top 10 in Class 5A. So that group had success, but then their coach leaves and he gets another coach that comes in that's had a lot of success, and they're going to do it his way too. So they got to blend that. But all that team has always been successful, or those players have been successful throughout their high school career. When we got here, there was not very much success at all as far as through winning and losing as far as a football program. So when we had to come that first year, I know what he was going through. You're teaching pregame. You're teaching how you get ready for a game. You're teaching team dinner. You're teaching how to do the coyote walk. You're teaching everybody every little step, and then you're hiring coaches and teaching, this is what I want you to do, and then you're talking to Coach Pfeiffer, here's in the stadium, I need this in the locker room done, the officials come, I need you to have the officials ready, I want talking to the Booster Club, this is when we get the concession stand ready, oh, we like flags, can we get flags ready, here's where we need to sell these little TVs down, so all these things are going in, and it's exhausting. So I know they have gotten better just because he's got more help, because now probably you've done it 14 times or 12 times, how long we've been going. At least they know, you know, what they're doing, and the people around him, you know, kind of know what he wants. So
there you go.
I'm sure they've improved a lot as far as that.
For just for record's sake, there were 32-8 was the Lovejoy seniors record going into this year.
They've won a lot of football
32-8
games.
over the previous 3 years. So
they know how to win,
Yeah.
and luckily our guys know how to win. So it looks like a good football game. So 32 wins is a lot in like 4 years, I guess.
Well, that was 3 years.
3 years
so
from
now,
now.
including this year, they're up to 41 wins as a senior class.
Yeah, that's you know, I give them a lot of credit because that's hard to do. So you know, I don't like to give other people very much love, and especially Lovejoy, but we will give a lot of respect to them.
Well, and we've been trying to tell people all along, like you might have a lot to do on Friday, but we can promise this. I feel like this is going to be one of the most entertaining, best products that football-wise that they can take in this weekend. And I hope people will come out.
Yeah, I think it will be fun. I know they put out a deal that they want to be loud, and so that's good. You know, anytime you get a good environment, it increases the awareness of the players, and it gives a lot of energy and makes the game more fun.
Mr. Tutson's chiming in down here, says, you taught Anna how to be winners. Salute, Coach.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, I do have another question revolving around the game on Friday. I'm kind of curious about who gets the band zone, or does any band get to go in the end zone where Melissa's band normally is on Friday?
You know, that's one of the questions I never asked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ann said she's going to ask.
Yeah.
I'm just genuinely curious, like if it's hey, we're going to go full neutral and nobody gets the band zone, or it's like Anna won the home flip for home, so they get the band zone. Or I was just curious.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Listen, if nothing else, I come with the soft-hitting questions that don't really matter to the outcome of the game.
Yeah, good question. And it won't, you know, good thing is we don't have that 18-wheeler go too far.
Listen,
So
if it breaks down going down 5, we can each stop and pick up an instrument on our way.
We can carry our own horns.
For those of you that don't know, our last game, our band's 18-wheeler with all their instruments decided it wanted to overheat or do something else on the way, and so the instruments never made it. The band made it, but the instruments never did. The instruments
and they
never
played,
did.
I think, our school song on those purple horns on.
Did they?
some of his,
Yeah, they did.
yeah.
We had some vuvuzelas doing the school horn.
Let's
and-
go. That's great.
They did a great job. Always fun to see them there and those kids and everybody, drill team, cheerleaders. It's all fun.
Well, Coach, we're really looking forward to Friday. We're excited for it. We're excited for your Coyotes, for your staff. Thanks for making the shift and providing this time for our fans and families that are, that are so used to hearing from you every week.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Hopefully everybody gets out to go to the game, and let's make it as rowdy as we can.
There you go. There's no reason to not be there. You can Black Friday shop on the internet now. Just do that and go to the game instead. You don't got to
right.
go wait in lines at Walmart.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't
That's
nobody
right.
got time for that.
Now there has been a deal that are we the home team or the visiting team? Now that's a long story. I don't have time to get into it, but we are the home team.
We're the
So,
home team. Okay.
Yeah, it's our first home game in the playoffs in 2 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So we'll be in
Yeah.
all purple because the last time we won all black, we lost against Lovejoy. So
And I'm sure
we will be in all purple
Chandra
this
hasn't
time.
let you live that one down.
Shonda's pleased with that. If you're watching, you can throw a thumbs up, Shonda.
Hey,
But
real quick to answer Alfonso TOTR track, are noisemakers permitted? Yes.
Yes, they are.
Yes. And here's what I will say going forward. This is Blake Grundy, not an official member of the Anna Coyote football team, not speaking for Ann or Coach Parr. But I'll tell you, we're going to turn every stadium into the fun zone the rest of the
That's
season.
right.
That's
right.
just how it's going to be. Noisemakers or not, we're turning every single stadium into the fun zone because that's what we do as Anna Coyotes.
Yeah,
Bring
we
the fun.
We did it in AT&T last year. If they can't control us, nobody can.
Man, good luck trying to control Anna. Well, hey,
That's right.
Coach Parr, thanks for spending a couple minutes with us.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we are back. Our second segment will be our final segment of this coach's show, right? We were joined here by Coach Severe and a new coach to the coach's show.
Yes, sir.
We've had him on pregame interviews. Welcome, Coach Cantrell. No, we need a little bit more than that. Come on now. Look, we're gonna have a lot of fun, but before we jump into some of this fun, look, we had some shade thrown last week. We asked some hard-hitting journalistic questions.
Okay.
Sports journalism. We asked, things like who has the messiest locker, who's always got food at coaches' meetings, and I'm gonna say for the record, you came up a lot in last week's show. You want to defend yourself? They talk about your stinky food, your smelly locker. Like, what's going on, Coach?
I don't know about the week-old eggs comment. That was a little out there. But, typically when you eat healthy, it does smell. It has an aroma to it. Versus if you go to a fast food place, it usually doesn't smell. So I'll say I eat healthy. Will be my excuse there. The locker room, they kind of got me pinned in the corner about that one. Probably need to be a little cleaner. I got a locker finally, so not as much stuff in the corner of the shower room and the coach's office. So should be a little better.
Okay. All right. So you are owning the stinky food.
Yes, but it's because it's healthy, not because it's bad food or week-old eggs, Coach Rigg.
So it's not week-old eggs.
It is not week-old eggs.
Okay. So what exactly is it then?
I guess it depends. I like to eat a lot of pasta, deer meat. Can't say that I turned down the free food at the cafeteria either. So I don't know if that it's healthy because it has to be healthy, not because it's necessarily great. But yeah, a lot of cafeteria food, pasta, deer meat every once in a while. I will break every once in a while too and get a Smucker's Uncrustable out of the fridge. Not so healthy, but those do smell good.
Okay. I was gonna say I don't think those are gonna smell bad. You got to leave those out for like 4,000 years before they smell. Just because of all the process, right? Well, let's jump into some of the meat of this segment. Coach Sevier, first of all, we come off a huge area win, right? We get another gold ball, and look, we know we've been around this long enough. That's not the goal, but it is a win, and everybody likes to celebrate that. But the second half of this game was huge, especially for the defense. Do you want to talk just a little bit about some of the things you saw and some of the things these kids did?
Yeah, first of all, like the gold ball thing, I mean, I tease Coach Parr and the other guys that are from Texas that California, we just win a playoff game and go the next. We don't got to, celebrate with a trophy every week. But I think what's best about it is you get another chance to play football. And so we work extremely hard year-round to do this, and you only get so many opportunities. So to get another opportunity to play football and have another week where you practice and play a game, it's really important. And so, that's the goal this week is to get another week of football. And so you do it year-round, and you put as much time and energy and go to clinics, and the players, work out, all year and sacrifice a lot of things for these moments. So you want to cherish every one you get. You don't want to dismiss, it's just a round 2 game. No, it's a football game, and we only get so many of them. And they're high stakes, and so it's fun to play in. But the defense, as far as the defense, I thought we struggled early. And they had some good things that they kind of changed up. They ran some new stuff. They did some stuff that they manipulated our defense a little bit. They did a good job. And then they started playing really fast, and we just kind of were chasing early on and just couldn't get really good footing. And then once we started honing in on some of the changes that they did, and our guys just got played into the game, got a little more comfortable with our because our offense was playing so well. You didn't have to feel like you had to be perfect. And they got a little relaxed and started to figure out what was going on. And they responded pretty well. So I was happy with that. I was happy with some of the adjustments that they took and applied. And I think a lot of it was like just relaxing. I think it kind of punched us in the mouth, and our guys were a little bit taken aback. And it took us a couple series, and then once we got our footing, we kind of stepped up in a little bit and started playing a little bit more physical.
You punched back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you punched back. I mean, it was a pretty aggressive game. That second half really started elevating. That aggression really started coming out.
Absolutely.
I think you could see that in all sorts of ways. A lot of good sacks, a lot of tackles. Felt like behind the line of scrimmage, a lot of tackles for loss. It was a lot of fun to watch that defense kind of come alive in that second half. Let's transition a little bit to the offense, Coach Cantrell, just a little bit. There's some guys that we talk about as role players on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. They may not always hit, like for us as a network, we do these stickers, right? They may not always hit our sticker threshold, but they're always hitting the stat line. And Rowan has been one of those guys. Like Rowan shows up week after week for the team, right? He what I tell him all the time, I'm like, dude, I'm just so impressed how you put your body on the line. Talk about his performance, right? Not only just on offense, but even special teams. Some of the things that you guys saw as coaches in him this last week.
Yeah, I mean, he's really kind of the embodiment of what we teach, man. He's gritty, he's tough, and he's a yes, sir guy every time, He might go take a huge hit, running a cross route or something like that. Kind of a running joke we have is he can't catch the ball without getting hit, And that's the Y position, You're running across the middle, you're sticking safeties, whatever we're doing, you're kind of in the heat of everything. And he's willing to do that, and he never, usually comes down without the ball if it's thrown to him. And, he turns around, too, on special teams and does that, It's hard sometimes to get guys who have that much success on offense to turn around and buy into special teams, and he's willing to do it every time, Kickoff, kick return, whatever he's playing, he's going 100 miles an hour. he's aggressive, he's physical, and it's what you want in a kid. You know, what you want when you build a program is you got to build a bunch of kids like that.
Yeah.
I'm not a offense guy, but can I share just a quick story?
Yeah, please.
So last weekend, last Saturday, prior to the Abilene Wiley game, so the previous Saturday before that, we're in there, we're talking about kickoff, and we're going to replace a guy and put another guy on, and there comes a big discussion, and there's names being, bandied about, and Coach Rod says, either Coach Rod or Coach G said, how about Roan? And everyone's like, that's a good one, and we still debated a little bit. There were some debates, but lo and behold, Coach Rod puts him in, and Roan goes out there and makes one of the first big tackles on kickoff.
Yep.
And then you look out there, and he's our holder, makes some great holds. He's now like one of our up backs on our punt team, which is usually a linebacker, a D-line type of guy, and that's Roan. So, I mean, the guy really just does everything you need.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys that if there's a spot that's open, if he's not already on it somewhere, he's kind of like Ace. Like we've talked about Ace about that a lot too. He's kind of that guy where we feel like we can put him anywhere and he's going to get the job done. And so that was, it's just a testament to him as a player.
Both those guys have sticky hands. Anything gets kind of near them, man, that ball just sticks. It doesn't matter how hard it's thrown. It doesn't matter where it's thrown. Those guys just have a way of coming down with the ball, and it's a lot of fun to watch. And especially when Rowan, not only is he making the catches, but then he's pinning guys, inside the 15, on special teams. So it's a lot of fun. Alfonso, there we go. Mr. Tutson, hands of glue. Yeah, that's definitely some good code name for those guys. Well, let's kind of take it into this realm. We had 5 sacks on the night. How are these guys getting into the backfield? That's a lot of sacks in a game.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where we get a credit as a defense, but really it's the whole team, right? So we score a touchdown and they get a personal foul, and we're up 14-7. Then we're able to use that personal foul to get an onside kick and go up 21-7. And then our offense just keeps applying pressure. So they get to a situation where they have to throw. And when we know they have to throw, then we can pin our ears back and we can start calling more pass-centric pressures. We can call more games and stunts and things to allow our D-line to just be aggressive and go play the pass. And when you know that it's run or pass as a defender, that's like the biggest. I don't want to know what play they're running because our kids can't process all that. But if you just know if it's run or pass, if they give you a tip, if a lineman does a certain thing and and you can look at it, or even just a situation, if hey, they have to throw, or their tendency says they always throw in this position, and you can pin your ears back, I mean, it's a whole different ballgame. You don't have to get off the ball and figure out is it run or pass. You already know. And so it just gives you that advantage. So I think late in that second half especially, they were a little bit tired. I think the tempo of the game and just the pressure of them having to score every time. If they didn't, they were going to fall behind, which is what happened. I think that pressure kind of mounted on them, and then us just pinning our ears back. And we got some guys who can get after quarterback. Cash, Chumley when he goes in. I think if you go per snap ratio, Chumley would lead the state in sacks. He's probably gone – right. 100, less than 100 snaps on defense, and he's got 7 sacks.
Yep.
I mean, he would probably have 25 sacks if he played every snap, every game. But it's one of those things where you got guys who can do it, and then they know it's coming. It's really it's kind of beneficial.
They were like sharks, man. That
Yeah.
second half, they smelled blood in the water, and I mean, if that kid had that ball for anything longer than 2 seconds, he regretted it.
Yeah.
He started making business decisions, throwing that ball clear out of bounds because he just did not want to deal, with the punishment. So
Absolutely.
it's a lot of fun to watch. Let me ask you this, Coach Cantrell. Dez is here. Desmar, how many different names do announcers call you? I probably heard the announcer last week call you 3 different things, by the way, in the course of the game. We call you Dez because that's just how we roll, right? Dez is actually here, our kicker. He showed up in a huge way this week with another onside kick. First of all, did you call the play? That's what we want to know, because the last one you didn't call. Did you call the play? And then just talk a little bit about what led you to that moment.
Yeah, it was communicated upstairs. We like the situation we're in, and especially in a big-time game like that, stealing a possession is always big. Not only to try to score again, but just to get the guys into it, and get everybody into it and bring the juice back, right? And we got a guy we can trust, and more than anything, kickers, and I was a specialist in college, so I'm not hating it by any means, but they aren't the guys usually sticking their nose in, right? You might see a guy kick it left or right, but a guy that's willing to kick it like that and then stick his nose in there and go get it when he knows he's got two probably linebackers coming right at him's definitely really special, and it really helped us out a lot, and it's not the first time he's come up big like that, and he's really got the ability to be a really great kicker, and he's showcasing that right now.
Yeah, one of the things that's all right. You can clap for him. That's great. He's here. We might as well take advantage of it, right? Make sure to encourage the young man. But one of the things that we look at, from the stat show perspective, is he's young still, right? He's a sophomore this year, and so like the sky kind of feels like it's the limit here with him. So any words to that and the potential that maybe this guy has kind of moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I was in a Division I specialist room for 6 years, and just seeing how some of those guys progress. Some of those dudes top out in high school. They don't have the leg or they don't have the mentality. I mean, he's already got how many touchbacks this year? An insane amount. He's one of the top dudes I know in the state, maybe in the country.
25th in the country.
Yeah, 25th in the country.
In total yards.
15 years old. 14, 15 years old, right? Hadn't put on a lot of muscle yet, so the progression he's going to have if he continues
to
look, stick with
you're
it.
Sitting next to Shem, so look, he needs to eat too.
Yeah.
So both y'all need to. Shem gets a shout out on the coaches show for being here. For being here, yeah. Just keep eating, boys. Just keep eating. Sorry, Coach, I cut you off.
Yeah, he does need to eat, but no. Just being on the kind of, I guess, the back end of things and getting into coaching and seeing how guys have put, so many different. I had two kickers or I guess three kickers in college. One was a 3-time All-American. One was Lou Groza finalist, which is top 3 kickers in the nation. And just seeing the way he's progressing, if he'll really stick with it and really buy into it and continue to practice hard and, go to the ranking camps and all these things, he's going to wind up in a really great place, I think even punting, he started punting 2 weeks before I got here, and his progression throughout the season, embracing that backup role and getting better, he's really a special talent there too. So if he'll continue to embrace that and climb, I see what he can become because I'm on the other side, but if he'll just trust that and continue to work, I mean, the sky's the limit for that kid.
Yeah. Well, just kind of a general question to wrap up with, but I think it's an important one. Last week leading up to our area championship game was kind of a tough week for our offense because our quarterback had kind of had a rough week. Hadn't been feeling great, didn't get as many reps, throughout the week, but he showed up, and I will say, like, watching him as a fan, and I don't know what it's like as a coach, and that's kind of what I'm hoping to get some feedback on. He seemed to have a pretty good command on what was happening in the game. There seemed to be a lot of clarity, in terms of his decision making, like read pass option kind of a mentality, like always making the right plays, the right call in the moment. Just felt like he was really in control. Talk to us a little bit about our quarterback this last weekend, the performance that you guys saw. You got to defend against him every week, so it's fun to get your perspective. And you being the assistant quarterback coach, I think you both have a lot to share in this regard.
First of all, the guy's a nightmare to defend. I mean, honestly, there's not a whole lot you can do. You go after him, and he'll make. I mean, even today in practice, we brought a pressure, and we got there, and he throws it, puts it in the perfect spot, and then you got Ace, hands of glue, makes an incredible catch, and you're like, you can't really defend it any better, and then they complete the ball. It's really frustrating. And he does that, like, consistently. So I know it's hard to defend him. And I'll say the one thing about Zai, and I think it kicks up in practice when we're in competitive moments, but he gets pretty competitive and he gets pretty animated. And I almost think last week it almost calmed him down a little, like a notch. Like he couldn't waste extra energy after the play. And so he was still Zai, and he was still exuberant, and he still was making tons of plays. But he wasn't like the over-the-top exuberance that he shows sometimes. And I think it almost allowed him to kind of settle into the game. And the guy's also a winner. I mean, clearly, right? So he knows what it takes, and he knows this is what I got to do. And regardless if I'm not feeling great, I'm going to be there, I'm going to do it. And so that's, as a guy who has to defend him all the time, I'm glad he's on my team, because not only because he's a great player, but he's a great competitor. And so you want that guy on your side, because you feel good. You feel like you always have a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of hard to follow up. That's pretty well said. I think the thing for me is, he's just so tough, being sick all week, and I think he might have even gone to the hospital, like being that sick and willing to come out, and you guys probably couldn't even tell, he just comes out there, he's gritty, and I think a thing too is when you are sick, when something's kind of going wrong, you're even more locked in on your fundamentals, you're more locked in on your reads, all that stuff, because all you're worried about is that, right? You don't have a lot of other stuff to worry about because you're sick, and all these other things are going on, right? So you're just focused on that. So I think it gives you the ability. Most people think, the flu game, Michael Jordan, all that stuff. But he really, locked in. He's locked in on his fundamentals, more on his reads, right? And it gives him the ability to kind of clear his head and just focus, right? And like he said, he is a nightmare, And one thing about when you see like a dual threat guy, they might escape the pocket early and run it. He's willing to sit back there and navigate the pocket too, and like he said, make really great throws, and he bounces back, right? Throws a pick, boom, he's right back into it. He's not one of those guys, as a quarterback, the camera's on you, right? When you watch a college or NFL game, the first thing it does, it pans over to the head coach or it pans over to the quarterback, right? So it's a high-pressure position, and you got to be a dog to play that. And, I mean, he's kind of the embodiment of that. He does a great job. He's tough. He's a competitor, like he said, very animated. But it's something you love to see as a coach, right? As a guy who loves the game, who's gritty and can bounce back in those situations.
Yeah. Well, let's not fill his head too much with praise, right? We still got games ahead. I think we got a lot of games ahead, so we want to keep him grinding, right? You guys are great. Thanks for spending some time with us today. I know you're looking forward to this opportunity on Friday as much as, and probably more than the fans. I thought that was a really great take, and it's something that is a great reminder for all of us at home is that, these guys are fighting for opportunities to do the thing they love, and that's something that we tend to forget is that this is another chance for you to go out and do that thing you love, right? It's
Absolutely.
The wins are absolutely what you're playing for, but it's also that opportunity to go do the thing that you really love doing and you've worked a year to get to do. So, Coach, we're not only are we praying for you guys, we're going to be there to support. We'll be loud, we'll be proud, and that's going to bring us to a close here at Nanda's. So thank you to coaches. Let's give it up one more time for Coach Cantrell, Coach Severe. Obviously, our head coach, Seth Parr, was here earlier. Thanks for joining us today. Thank you to Nanda's. We'll give a tip of the hat to this great staff. You guys bent over backwards for us today, and we didn't quite bring as many people as normal, but the whole season has been great. We are certainly thankful for you being the official Mexican food of the Coyote football team. I know they really appreciate this. But our kickoff this week is Friday at 2 o'clock. We're going to be at Kenny Deal Stadium in Melissa. We are going to be on the home side. So let's make sure to fill it up. Let's be loud. Let's be proud. And as always, tune into Coyote Football Network right here on YouTube. We'll see y'all later. Thanks for joining us.
Go Coyotes.
Go Coyotes.